Hey, if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, this video is for you, and I brought a whiteboard this time so we can make clear, actionable steps to where we need to go along this journey, okay? My last video kind of touched on what we need to do here, but I have actual visual representation this time so that you can understand clearly the process and the order of the events, okay? We're gonna get straight to the point here. We're gonna get you out of paycheck to paycheck and into a little bit of buffer, okay? We're still going to live paycheck to paycheck, but now we have a little bit of a buffer. It could be an emergency fund. It could be sort of a starting investment fund. What we're doing is we're starting to build some capital on the side, and you can do this without making any additional money, okay? No additional money, no additional income needed. However, that would not hurt, okay? That would be incredibly helpful. Okay, so number one, get crystal clear on your budget, okay? We need to identify our fixed and our variable expenses. Our fixed expenses are going to be clear: rent, car payment, certain types of bills like a personal loan payment, things like that, okay? We have certain expenses in life that are fixed, okay? On top of that, our phone bill, internet, okay? We also have variable expenses, okay? Now, variable expenses are a little bit harder to judge, but we can do a close approximation of what these are, okay? A variable expense might be food. It may be something like things like shampoo and toilet paper and other things that you don't necessarily buy all the time, but maybe we'd have like a household goods category of different things. I really want you to think and be consciously present while you're making this budget, okay? This is incredibly important to be able to capture everything. Maybe you have gas in there. Gas generally is going to fluctuate both in price and frequency. It's not often that every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. you're buying gas, okay? It's always, it's variable. It's not necessarily incredibly frequent, okay? So what we need to do is identify our fixed and our variable expenses, okay? We need to get crystal clear on that, and we need to be able to put a number on that, okay? Put a number on it, okay? Once we put a number on it, then we can work with it, okay? Now, on top of this, as part of our budget, we need to identify what our income is. How much are we making every month? How much are we making every week? I would do our budget on a monthly basis and then break it down into a weekly. And I would even do it like this. Let's just say I make $2,000 a month and my bills are $1,600 a month. Okay, that means $4 out of every $500 from every paycheck needs to go to bills, and I have an $100 per week buffer. Okay, does that make sense? $1,600 per month expenses, $2,000 per month income. That gives me $100 a week, $400 a month divided by 4 weeks. That gives me $100 a week of buffer that I can work with, okay? That I can work with. Generally, what we're going to see here is when we do the budget, we're going to find that we make enough money, okay? Most people do. Most people have a discipline problem. So we need to get the truth in front of us, our financial truth. We got to stop hiding from our financial truth. The moment that we look in the mirror and say, this is what my financial situation looks like. The moment I accept reality and say, this is my financial situation. It is not good. It is not bad. I am not ashamed of it. I am not fearful of it. This is what it is, okay? This is the way it is, okay? Once we get a clear picture of what it is, we can then build off of that, okay? Okay. Now, income and expenses, okay? Once we do that, now we realize there's a buffer. Wait, what? Generally, there's a buffer. Now, if there is not a buffer, there's two ways to overcome this. Number one, we need to identify things like Netflix and whatever that need to go. They need to go, okay? If you want to be serious and intentional about getting out of your current financial situation, we need to first of all define what that is by looking at what our situation looks like on a paycheck to paycheck basis. And then on top of that, we need to identify where are there holes, where am I spending way too much money on stupid things, okay, that don't get me closer to financial independence and financial goals, okay? I'm sorry, Netflix, it's got to go. If you're Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus, whatever you're playing, it's got to go, okay? Gotta go. Anything DoorDash, Dash Pass, gotta go, okay? So anything that's non-necessary can get eliminated, okay? We need to be able to eliminate those. Now, on top of that, you don't have to make any more money, but if you want to donate plasma, if you want to work a overtime shift, trust me, that is going to help, okay? We're living paycheck to paycheck. If we can do a little bit better, if we can make a slight bit of income, even if it was $50 a week, that's going to make a huge impact over the long run. If we can eliminate $50 a month from our expenses, that's going to make a huge impact, okay? If we want to just check out my video about how to save $500 on gas every year, go ahead and check that out. That's going to save you on some gas, okay? And we can use that. So we need to be able to eliminate unnecessary costs, things that we're paying for. Do I really need to be buying all this premium shit? Can I get away with buying some lower quality things in certain areas? Do I need to buy Campbell's brand soup, or can I get away with the Walmart Great Value or the Kroger brand, okay? Can I get away with that? Is that just a little bit of a cost that I can do? We got to get super serious and intentional, okay? This ain't like nobody lazily builds a house. It's like, I'm just going to kind of wing it on this house. No, you don't do that with building a house. It's very serious. You got to do the same with your finances, okay? Now, we got to pay ourselves. So here's what we do. When we realize, so I want to just quick backtrack. The goal of your budget is to equal $0 at the end of every month, which means your exact income should match your exact expenses. It should be 2,000 in, 2,000 out, okay? And the total should be 0 every month, okay? That means when the total is 0, we've captured every dollar, okay? Now, let me explain something, because you're probably thinking, that means I'm not saving any money. Wrong, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to add another bill. We're adding a bill. And it is the pay me bill. It is the, man, I owe Nick this month. I owe Nick this week, okay? Whatever your name is, I owe that person. I owe me, okay? I owe a bill to me, okay? I owe a bill to me, all right? We got to pay ourselves. So just as much as you're paying the government, just as much as you're paying for your phone bill every month, why are we not paying ourselves? Okay, so you are somebody that you owe a bill to, okay? And here's how you do it. When we've identified that $2,000, for example, is our income and $1,600 is our expenses, you owe yourself $400 per month. And it's easiest to take $100 out of every paycheck to do that, okay? How do we do that? We pay ourselves into a difficult to access account on direct deposit if possible. Remember, the simplest way to build a habit and to be successful is to eliminate any sort of difficulty involving this task. We have to make this task as easy and automated as possible. And the best way to do that is if you use ADP, which is one of the largest payment processing businesses. Every company that I've ever worked for uses ADP. You can actually go on your app, or even you could go to HR and you can probably have your paycheck split, okay? If we know that $100 from every paycheck can be split, we need to get that taken out of every paycheck and routed to a difficult to access account. What are these? Bank, a different bank. So let's just say I use Chase Bank. We're going to go to Bank of America and we're opening up a separate account, checking, we're putting deposit in there, okay? We're putting our direct deposit in that. Sometimes you can open up a bank with $5, okay? You can deposit $5 or even $0. All we got to do is get that number and we're going to direct deposit whatever that difference is, okay? Now with the second bank, we do not have a banking app. we throw away the debit card. We make it as hard as possible to get this money, okay? It's accessible, it's liquid, it's there, but it's as hard as possible, okay? If that's too hard for you to not go over there and spend, if you've got a serious problem, then we need to put it in a brokerage account, okay? When it's in a brokerage account, you could use something like Charles Schwab or even Robinhood or whatever, where the money can't be spent. It's sitting in cash form. It's not being invested. Charles Schwab, you can have it sitting in cash form in a brokerage account, no debit card, and it's going to take 2 to 3 days to get that money back into your other account, okay? So any impulse buy, you can't buy now, all right? And it's more difficult. The easier it is to save, the easier we make saving, the more we're going to save. The harder we make spending, the easier it is to save that money as well, okay? So we want to simultaneously make it easy to save and hard to spend, okay? I would even do your company's direct stock purchase plan, okay? Could even be something, if you need it absolutely liquid and you can discipline yourself, I would maybe just put it in a separate bank, but get rid of that debit card and go to the physical branch if you want to take the money out, all right? Now here's the thing. Once we've done the budget and we do it on a 4 paycheck per month basis, we realize that if you get paychecks once per week or twice per month, there is a magical phenomenon that happens where you get 5 paychecks per month 4 times a year. There's 12 times 4 is 48, but there's 52 weeks in the year, which means that you are going to get an extra paycheck 4 times if you get weekly, okay? You're going to get an extra paycheck that month 2 times if you're getting paid every other week, okay? Now here's the thing. When we've done our budget based off of 4 paychecks and we find out that we can afford to live that way, we now have 4 extra paychecks that we can capture. We can wipe that entire thing and we can put it into some sort of other bank account, brokerage account, whatever it is, okay? We also get taxes, all right? Make sure you go to HR and make sure you're taking whatever the minimum deduction is if possible, so you can get a chunk back on your taxes and then capture that every year. Now we can use this money to pay off debt if needed, but what we're talking about today is getting some sort of buffer. So if I need to take a week off from work, I have capital that I can survive with, and I'm not like stressed out and thinking, oh shit, I'm not going to pay my bills this month, okay? The last step is, once we've captured this, what I want you to do is set up habits immediately. Immediately do we need to start setting habits of growing this money, okay? Yes, it's one thing to save money, but as soon as we start saving, I need you to habit stack saving with investing, okay? This is going to be crucial. Most people wait till they have $10, $20, $30,000 saved before they invest anything, okay? If you would have invested every single, from the beginning, starting with your first couple hundred, if you were to even just put it in Spider, the S&P 500 ETF, and you would be making close to 10% on all of that money. So now you're saving 10% faster. You're going from 0 to 10,000, from 0 to 1,000, from 0 to 10,000, from 0 to 100,000. 10% faster. 10% faster, okay? If you don't know anything about that, if you just work for a company, let's say Amazon, let's say Walmart, let's say Kroger, let's say any kind of big company, even if it was like, I don't know, there's plenty of companies that are on the S&P 500, okay? If your company offers a direct stock purchase plan or and you know what, let me even preface this with Walmart, because I used to work there. Walmart gives you a discount on their stock. So I believe it's 15%. So if their stock is trading at $100, you're buying their stock for 15% less than that. So $85 is what you pay for their stock. Okay, so let's clarify this real quick. All right. Not only did I save $400, but I know, let's just say I work at Walmart. Yes, I saved $400 this month. But you know what? By the end of the month, because I used the direct stock purchase plan, I now have 15% more than that. I now have $60 more than I actually saved just because I used a vehicle that stretches and maximizes my money, okay? And the other thing is dividends. If you could put something in something that generates dividends, you can look at some of these companies: Energy Transfer, ticker ET, Ares Capital, ARCC, would be a good one. QQQI, I believe, is relatively high. If you want just a little bit of a lower one, Calmain Foods, CALM is the ticker. That's going to be, I believe, sitting at somewhere between 7 to 9%. UPS and Target, when they were at their lows, were decently dividend payers. I'm not super big on supporting big tobacco, but BTI, British Tobacco, or there's another one, and I can't remember the name. There's another American tobacco company that's Altria, Altria. All of these are giving you like a certain percentage on your money just for holding that. So you're getting X percent every single year. Maybe you put it into a bond, whatever the bond yield is, if you can do that. Okay, so what I want you to do is capture. But then let's stretch what we've captured so we can save and snowball faster. Okay, anybody can do this. All right, anybody can do this. I believe in you. That's why I made this video, because it's so simple. The strategy is simple. Anybody can do this, okay? Quick recap. We make our clear budget. We understand where we need to cost cut, and maybe we need to make a little bit of more income. But in most cases, that's why the title of this video is Without Making More Money. In most cases, you don't need to do that, all right? In most scenarios, it's generally a discipline problem. You're spending too much. We're lowering our cost, increasing our income if we need to do that. We're paying ourselves into a difficult to access account. Why? Why are we doing that? Because it's harder to spend. If it's harder to spend, it's easier to save. Okay? We want it on direct deposit. Okay? I don't want to have to go to the physical bank. If you're feeling lazy, I'll just leave it in there. Next thing you know, wow, I got this money. I could probably just buy some more video games. We want to get that out of our regular checking account into another account, all right? Once we've done the budget, we realize that we can survive separate from our taxes and paychecks, and we can use this to either pay off debt or invest, okay? Or just save, okay? We have 4 extra free paychecks and free taxes, okay? Free money. And then we can capture it and invest it, okay? If SPY's going up 10% per year, which is basically what you're doing, is you're investing into the U.S. economy as a whole, the largest companies, generally. If you believe in this country, if you understand the system, even if you don't, maybe talk to a financial advisor. Over the long term, SPY has always gone up. After 10 or 15 years, you have a 99% chance of being in the green. You have a 99% chance. So look, if you're going to be alive for the next 15 years, you might as well be in the green. You might as well be stretching the dollars that you have. Okay? Now, the other thing here real quick that I do want to touch on, we'll get into this on another video, but saving in cash is literally saving into a bank account that has holes in it, okay? Your cash is always depreciating. We're not going to talk about that today. We'll talk about that in a future video. But we want to be investing or saving in some form of asset, because as inflation happens, your dollar decreases in value. So you may have saved, yes, I saved $10,000. But that $10,000 can only buy $6,000 worth of stuff, okay? Because you invested in cash, and cash is a negative asset. It goes down in value. It never goes up in value. It always goes down in value, okay? So That's a side note. We're not going to worry about that right now, but we'll talk about that in another video, okay? If this was helpful, send it to a friend. The way that this channel grows is by me helping you and you helping your friends when this video helps you, okay? It's a team work. It's teamwork makes the dream work, okay? Now, if you found this video impactful, if you have any other tips that someone else in the community can learn from, put it in the comments. Have a wonderful day, guys.